My passion in food has brought me around the globe. From just cooking, from the industry. I work in an industry in Malaysia, of course in Singapore, and also in America. But finally, I've decided to be in academia. And now, I am in the academic and talking about food all the time. So I do lectures and also I do cook a lot. Yeah. So cooking is my passion and that's what I love to do. Anyway, this is my content. We're talking about prologue. I'm dividing it into different sections of my presentation, but I'm not going to talk it all because it would take forever to finish. I have a lot of slides, but I will compress it in the shortest way that I possibly could. Yeah. Well, so how all these spices started in Malaysia? Well, Malaysia is known as the Golden Cuisine or the Malay Peninsula. Because of our location in the central of Southeast Asia, it has become a major attraction to the West, especially the European. I think a Japanese professor talked about that. He covers a lot about it, how the European came over to this part of the world to look for the spice. So, from a very humble beginning, as a fishing villages, small villages, and our food was very natural. We just pick food from around our backyard. But then, with this Malacca become the central spice trade during that time in the 14th, 15th centuries. It make Malay Peninsula to make it very diverse in terms of our spice usage, yeah? Because, we don't produce any of the spice except for, we have a lot of local herbs, fresh herbs, but we don't have all those dry herbs. We got them from Indonesia, from India, but then in Malacca during that time, a lot of this those traders, they bring and they trade the spices in Malacca and then making to enrich our cuisines. So then it started, the diversity in our cuisine. And I feel like among the Southeast Asian countries, I think we are diverse in terms of more tastes and flavors of Southeast Asia. Like Thailand, I could see that their flavors influenced by those Thailand, Laos, and Cambodia, sort of similar flavors. And Malaysia flavors is uniquely Malaysia. Because we have the peninsula now, Peninsula Malaysia, with the West Malaysia, and we have the Borneo part of Malaysia. And then that's totally different ball game. The food is different, and it's not the same with our food in the Peninsula Malaysia. So the food from the north to the south is totally different taste. The south food is more influenced by the Indonesian, Javanese, Sumatrans. The north is influenced by the Thai and also Indians influence. Yeah, so you can see that. So all these, the European entrance to Malacca during that time brought a lot of difference to the food. Yeah. Okay, next. We'll talk about, cultural fusion, flavor elevations, aromatic allure, and culinary diversity in our spices. So, to enrich Malaysian cuisine, yeah? Influence of culinary techniques and profiles. Well, as I said, some of our ingredients is uniquely Malaysia. For example, let me give you an example, very good example. We use a lot of tosh ginger. Tosh ginger is bunga kantan. I don't see that it's being used a lot in Indonesia, not so much, but we use it a lot, not so much in Thailand, but we use it a lot in our herbal rice, nasi ulam, in our laksa, in our curries, like that. And a lot of our food also is influenced by the Indian spices. The rampa, we call it rampa. We can make it a dry rampa. We make a wet rampa. And the way we prepare our food is different. There's a lot of saying that, like Malaysia and Indonesia, we can say that we share some similarities, but yet we are so different. For example, like, of course, rendang is originated from Indonesia. Yeah, but then Indonesia, the rendang coming from Sumatra. But then the rendang in Sumatra and our rendang is different. The way they cook it, they prepare it is differently. And in Malaysia, from the south to the north, we have different type of rendang. And the colors of the rendang is so different. And like some rendang, they're very dark brown, and some are lighter colors like that, and different flavors and textures as well. So that rendang is like kind of like a beef stew, So, and also the spices, for example, we don't have what do you call this? We import a lot of spices from India. For example, like our cloves, our cardamom. We cannot grow them in Malaysia. We have to import them. And in fact, our dried chilies are from India. That's our major ingredients, the chilies. The chilies that we use is not the same chili that we find in Thailand. And there are different spiciness of the dry chilies. We use a lot of dry chilies in our cooking, and also the fresh chili and bird eyes chili as well. So, we get our flavors from these different types of chili in our cuisines. And if I travel to New York, for example, I will bring my own chili. In fact, in Thailand, if I cook Malaysian in Thailand, I will bring my own chili as well. I cannot use a Thai chili because it's different flavors and spicy, right? It's different spiciness. So I have to have my Malaysian chili. But my Malaysian chili is not from Malaysia. The dried chilies, they're from India or China. So you see how diverse is our food, just from the ingredients, and then of course the flavors are so intricately designed, from northeast, north, south, east, west, all different flavors. So that's uniquely Malaysia. And of course, our food is very, very rich with coconut milk. And guys, for your information, is coconut milk good or bad? You tell me. Good, right? And some media are saying in the past, coconut milk is not good. It's the best because it has that lauric acid, which is good for your body. So start taking coconut oil, which is very good for your heart. Besides olive oil, coconut oil is the best. But use the virgin coconut oil. And people in the village in the past, they were very thin because they use a lot of coconut milk. But now people are getting very fat. Yes. So because they're eating a lot of industrial food, and a lot of, food, processed food. I'm against that. I'm into natural food and, slow cooking like that, and heritage. And Alan, thank you for highlighting that, heritage sells. So we have to uphold our heritage food. And I'm sure the younger generations today, and Thai, is having problem with the younger generations in Malaysia, Indonesia, with a new kind of food, you know what I mean? All industrial food, which is like, it's going to kill you very fast. That's what I believe, Anyway, role in global exploration, colonizations, of course, you know it about, Western powers coming to this part of the world, tea, cloves, that back maize. And, Sarawak peppers is one of the best peppers in the world, and is exported around the world, and is the best peppers that we have. Next. These are the different types of, spices that we use in our cooking. Turmeric, cardamom, Indian Oceans, Chinese-inspired spices. So, the food is very unique because it's a blend of different cultures, Like, for example, in Malay cuisine, we have Chinese dishes, and we are, for example, like chicken rice. Chicken rice is a typically Malaysian dish, yes. The Chinese is doing it, of course. The Hainanese chicken rice, and Malay is doing it their own way, and the Indian also doing it. And also in Thailand, there's chicken rice, but it's totally different, using different sauces and different type of rice as well. So, and roti canai. Roti canai is our breakfast, flaky, crispy flatbread. We dip in curries, fish, or dal like that. And the curries, of course, with lots of spices in there. And also Malaysia is on sambals. Yes? 7 minutes? Oh, good. I have a lot of time. Sambals. You know the sambals in Malaysia? Of course, Indonesia has a lot of sambal as well. I was in Jakarta recently, and I was learning about Sundanese food. And it's so amazing, Sundanese food, I love it. And of course, sambal in Malaysia, we have this dish, which is like 100% chili. But then, yes, 100% chili, but lots of onions. Tons of onions, chili, and shrimp paste. And you make it with, you fry it with, you cook the chili a very long time. And then, first onions, saute the onions, slice onions, lots of sliced onions. And then add the grinded or pounded chili together. You cook them with oil, slowly cook them. And then add the shrimp paste. And then you add shrimps or eggs or meat or whatever you have and this would be a very nice dish to go with your rice. And well, different homes will do it differently. And that's, you can just have rice and sambal and some vegetables. That's it for your lunch. A simple home-cooked lunch. Yeah, but it's spicy. But the different types of chili that you use will make a difference. Some people like it very spicy and less spicy and not spicy at all. But why eating sambal if it's not spicy, right? And the chili will work well in your body. It helps in your bodily functions, right? So, and also with this influence, we also have a lot of other influence. Of course, we have the British influence in our cuisine with a bit of Dutch. The Dutch were there for quite a while, not so long to compare with the Portuguese. And also we have a Japanese influence in our East Coast, in the East Coast part of Malaysia, because we have this fish dipped in flour, that's sort of like tempura, sort of. And it's very popular in the coastal region of Malaysia, in the East Coast. A lot of fish. Because the Japanese, when they came to Malaya during that time, they were coming from the East Coast. That was the first time they came during that time. So there was the Japanese influence. So we have a lot of influence, and we use, of course, a lot of tamarind, Garciana. I don't see them, Thai using Garciana. Garciana is the sour fruit. Is good for, we dry them and add them in our gulai or in our curries or different dishes. And also Garciana is good for obesity, to reduce weight. And it has been made into powder and is sold widely in the US. So that's the Asian ingredients in the world market. So, as Prof. Winai saying that, these spices and herbs they are, for the world market. And a lot of medicinal values as well. So, so that's Malaysian cuisine's ritual. Of course, this food is the symbolisms of spiritual, your culture, your lifestyles, you see. And food, when you talk about food, you'll forget everything else. When you're from food, there's nothing matters, just the food, and you enjoy food. And food brings lots of good memories in our lifetime, right? And of course, when you try medicinal properties, and I'm very close to this. Like in my backyard, I have a lot of medicinal plant that I grow, and I make my own herbal tea and things like that, and add to dishes, rice or salads, whatever. And I like to take lots of herbal, fresh herbs, which is very good. And I can feel that I feel young, forever young. We're taking lots of salads and ulam. We call it ulam. Ulam is, taking these fresh herbs, and we dip it with our sambal belacan, which is sambal shrimp paste, which is a fresh sambal, very easy to make, just like chili and shrimp paste and some, chili and shrimp paste, that's it. And then you dip in, and you press some calamansi lime or lime, and just 3 ingredients, but it's like a phenomenal taste for your lunch. Just simple. This is like simple food, but you will remember forever. In fact, a friend of mine who has a restaurant in New York City has sambal belacan in his restaurant. He used to have a restaurant in New York City and put sambal belacan. He's an American. He was in Malaysia for quite a while, learning about Malaysian cuisine, opened up a restaurant in New York City, and then he put sambal belacan, the fresh sambal belacan for the New York market. So, how far sambal belacan has gone to in 1 minute. Well, I'm just on the spot talking about Malaysian, and I could finish, I could be talking for hours and hours about Malaysian cuisine. So for those of you who have never tried Malaysian cuisine, I welcome you to Kuala Lumpur and to savor our cuisine. And you have to stop by in Malacca or Penang. Penang food is the heaven, food in Malaysia, food paradise. And I know a lot of Thais saying to me, I love Penang food. Oh, well, you have Penang curry here, right? In Thailand, it's like, how our food resembles. And I want to talk about one thing before I finish, about the similarities of we have pasama. Pasama is like a beef curry from the northern Malaysia. And we have masaman in Thailand. And also we have samur in Indonesia. So these are like curries, but Indonesian version is kind of like very light color. Malaysian sort of like dark curries, and Thai is like lighter yellowish and like that. And it has potatoes as well. In Malaysia we have potatoes, coconut milk, same with Indonesia as well. So there's a kind of like, the taste is like kind of similar but different. So with that, we are like Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore and Brunei, we all share the same palate. But of course, we are different and very unique in our own ways. With that, thank you so much. And Malaysia, truly Asia. Thank you.